Welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Dudu, and to my old subscribers, what they do, baby, and to my new subbies, welcome home, loves. So in today's video, I'm gonna be giving you guys a soft glam tutorial. This look is gonna be a very short, quick, and easy, unlike the video that I gave you guys the last time, which was a full detailed makeup tutorial, which was quite long, but this one is not going to be that long, guys, I promise. Okay, so I really hope you guys love and enjoy this video. I'm really looking forward to you guys watching it and seeing how I achieved this beautiful look. And without rambling too much, let's get to it. And as per usual, I go in with my moisturizer, which is the Skin Clinic Tissue Oil Cream Rejuvenating Moisturizer. Now that we're done prepping our face, we're going to go in with the Essence Camouflage Matte Concealer in the shade Warm Toast. This is so you can have a smooth and popping eyeshadow. So it's basically acting as a base for your eyeshadow. So you're just going to spread that around your eye. You can use any small brush. I personally like to use the one that I was using for concealing my eyes, because then at the end of the day, it's just concealer. And now that we're done with that, you can see that your eyelids are a bit messy. The concealer is everywhere. So at this point, you just want to blend everything out, or rather smooth everything out. So I'm going to go in with the Beauty Blender. So now that everything is blended out, we're going to set our concealer with the Waterproof Essence All About Matte Fixing Compact Powder. This does not just smooth out your concealer, but it also allows for the concealer not to crease, therefore giving you a smooth and popping eyeshadow. Now that everything is blended out, we're going to go in with the chocolate brown shade from the Girlflower Artistry palette. And as you all know, guys, I always emphasize this all the time, that when applying eyeshadow, you literally have to dab. You don't have to swipe, because then when you're swiping, you're literally removing the product from your eyes. So you literally have to be dabbing the entire time. So I went off camera to apply eyeshadow on the other eye as well, and right now I'm using a lighter shade, a lighter brown, just to blend everything out and make sure that I am removing the harsh line created from the first shade. And as you can see, that I am dabbing and I am not swiping, and I'm just making sure that everything is blended out smoothly. And now that we're done with that, I've went off camera to apply false lashes and eyeliner. And now the second step to prepping my face is priming. And for priming, I use the Smudge Primer, which smooths skin for a flawless foundation finish. This smooths out your foundation and also acts as a barrier between your skin and all the products that you're going to be applying on your skin. And I personally use 2 steps for prepping my face, which is moisturizing and priming. Like I always emphasize, guys, prepping your face is very important. So now I'm just gonna rub it in to make sure that the product itself and its nutrients are fully absorbed into the skin. And now that I'm done with that, my skin at this point feels so fresh, so soft, and so smooth. And that is all thanks to the primer and the moisturizer. And now the next step is going back in with the powder. I'm using the Essence All About Matte Fixing Compact Powder that I used earlier on to set my concealer. I'm using this powder so that I can mattify all the areas that I usually get oily, and that is in my T-zone. That is my forehead, my chin, under my eyes, the bridge of my nose, and all of that. This step really helps after you've put on your foundation, that it does not like make you look oily or anything like that, because then you have mattified all of those areas. And now that I'm done prepping the skin, I'm gonna go in with foundation. For foundation, I'm using Revlon Color Stay Full Cover Foundation in the shade Cappuccino 435, and it is matte. I personally do not like using a lot of foundation, so I'm just gonna go in with a few drops of this Cappuccino 435. And I'm also going to go in with the lighter shade, which is the L'Oreal Paris Infallible 24-Hour Matte Cover in the shade Covia Copper 340. And I'm also just going to go in with a few drops, nothing much. One thing about me, I'll make a mess, child. Trust me to make a mess, yeah? And the reason I'm mixing these two shades is because I find that the Cappuccino 435 is a bit dark for me. So I just use the Covia Copper 340 to just tone it down. And now that I'm done with that, I'm going to go in with my foundation brush and just make sure that I'm dabbing all of that product into my skin. And again, guys, make sure that you're not swiping, but dabbing. So now I'm just making sure that every area in my face, every corner of my face has the product, and I'm just going to run it over to the neck as well, you know, just to make sure. So now that I'm done with that, I want you guys to notice the flawless and smooth foundation finish that I was talking about earlier on, hence the emphasis on the two steps of prepping your face, which is moisturizing and priming. At this point, you guys know that I set literally everything. So now I'm going to go in again with the Essence All About Matte Fixing Compact Powder. So at this point, I usually go in with like two setting powders, which is this compact powder and a powder that I'm going to be showing you guys later on. The reason for me to start with this one is because the loose powder that I'm going to use later, it usually becomes cakey when you apply it on a creamy foundation or a liquid foundation. So for me to prevent that, I usually start with this compact powder so it can give me a flawless and smooth finish and allow the other powder to come on in and do its work easily. So now that I'm done with that, the next step is highlighting, and for highlighting I use the Essence Camouflage Matte Concealer in the shade Warm Toast, and I'm just gonna go in with this concealer just under my eyes, the bridge of my nose, the tip of my nose, on my chin, top of my lips, and the sides of my nose. I don't know what that area is called, but yes, the sides of my nose. So I personally find that this warm toast is a bit lighter for me and it is way too creamy for my liking. So I usually go in with the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Matte Cover in the shade Covia Copper 340. And this is the foundation that I used earlier on with the other foundation. Remember earlier on I used the Cappuccino 435 and I mixed it with the Covia Copper 340 so it can give me the shade that I want. This is exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm mixing the two shades so I can get the shade that I want. And I'm only noticing now that I do not highlight the bridge of my nose and the tip of my nose. So I'm just going to go in with that Warm Toast Concealer to go over the bridge and the tip of my nose. And now that I'm done with that, I'm just going to go in and blend the concealer. And for blending, I use a foundation brush that I used earlier on. Well, this is not the right thing to do because then you have to use a proper concealer brush to blend it out, which is a bit smaller than the foundation brush, but this girl does not have a concealer brush, so I just had to improvise. Anyway, notice how I'm dragging the concealer all the way up to the end point of my eyebrow. I'm literally just dragging the concealer all the way up, and notice that I am not swiping but dabbing the concealer. If anything, it's this flawless and smooth finish for me, child. This look is not even done yet, but just look at how smooth and flawless it is. And that is all thanks to what? Prepping my face. Anyway, so now I'm just gonna go in with a beauty blender. Remember that I used a foundation brush to blend out the concealer. So with that, I could not really reach into those areas in my face where I could actually reach if I had used a proper concealer brush. So now I'm just gonna go in with the beauty blender in all of those areas and just make sure that I'm blending everything out. Again, I'm not sure if I mentioned in the video, but you know that when you use a brush, obviously it's gonna leave like small harsh lines. So I personally just like going in with a wet not a wet, sorry, a damp beauty blender on top, you know, just to smooth everything out. I'm not saying that a brush does not do a good job. It does a perfect job, since when I personally love using it, but like just, you know, top everything off, smooth everything out, I go in with the beauty blender. I know I've been saying this, but I am just so obsessed with how this look is coming out. I'm looking at how everything is so smooth, how everything is so flawless. I'm just like loving it. Anyway, so now I'm just gonna go in with the Offi Poetry Deluxe Banana Loose Powder. This is to basically set the concealer. With this powder, I don't usually like going in with a lot of it, because then I don't like having a cakey makeup. So I usually go in with the small amounts, and notice how I'm actually dabbing the product and I'm not swiping. And this is so that all the oils are locked inside and I don't have a makeup that's shiny and all oily. And now that I'm done with that, I'm sure you picked up that I was not baking, but I was petting the powder the entire time. I'm one person who does not really like baking because I tend to look ashy. The only area where I prefer baking is the tip and the bridge of my nose. So now that I'm done with that, the next step will be contouring. And for contouring, I go in with the Essence Soft Touch Mousse Makeup in the shade Matte Espresso 70. So after applying all of these products on your face, your foundation, your concealer, your powders, all of that, your face then tends to lose definition. So that's where now the contouring comes in. Well, contouring brings back the definition and shape and form to your face. So I'm going to apply to all the areas where definition is required, like the sides of my nose, just below my cheekbones, the edges of my face, and all of that. Notice how I'm actually dragging the mousse all the way up to the beginning of my eyebrows. This is so it can give you that natural finish type of look. I mean, you don't want a nose that looks fake. So to give it that natural finish, just drag it all the way up to the beginning of your eyebrows. I'm pretty sure you're asking yourself, what is it that I'm doing in this step? Well, in this step, I make sure that I do not apply the mousse or the contour rather directly to my cheekbones, because then on my cheekbones, that's where the blush will go in, and just on top of that, that's where the highlighter will go in. So when I'm contouring, I make sure that I apply the contour just below my cheekbones, just below, okay? So I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm going to make sure that I apply the contour just below the cheekbones and not directly on the cheekbones, because you know the drill. On the cheekbones, it's only the blush and the highlighter. So it's not a lot of people who do this step, but personally I love doing it because like I said earlier on that when you apply all of these products to your skin, you tend to lose definition and form. So to bring back that definition and form to my jawline, this is what I do. So I'm just gonna use the excess to go over my forehead. I don't like a lot of contour there because then it's just, the weave and, the mousse, the sprays, the whatnot. So I just don't like a lot of product there. So I just go in with the excess. I don't know about you, but somebody said to me definition, somebody said form, somebody said shape, somebody said warmth. Child, what do you mean? I mean, look at my face, child. Look at that. Child, please get out of here. Yeah? So now that we're done with that, I'm gonna go in with the chocolate brown shade that I used from the Gulflower Artistry palette. I usually use this shade to set my contour. Like I always say that there's three types of contours that you can use. There's a liquid contour, there's a cream contour, and there's a powder contour. I personally prefer using a cream contour and then just top it off with the powder contour to just set it. So now I'm just going to go in with this powder in all of the areas where I use the contour. This is so it can bring the warmth into my face, that definition to my face, not just definition, but more definition to my face. And now that we're done with that, I'm going to move over to the Dreamy Belle Collection palette. It is an 8 color highlight and contour palette. And in that palette, I'm going to go in with the very, very, very pink blush. Like I've mentioned before that you need to apply blush directly on your cheeks. As I'm smiling like this, I'm trying to see where the apple of my cheeks is so I can start from there and dry it all the way up. If there's one thing about me, you know that I'm always going to emphasize the fact that you need to dab and not swipe. So dab and not swipe. Child, I don't know, but make it make sense to me. Make it make perfect sense to me because I mean, what? This look, child, is coming together. I'm literally obsessed with how everything is just coming out together. Like, literally, guys, I'm loving this look. I'm loving how this blush took everything to the next level. Like, it's so amazing. And if you know me, child, if you know me, child, you know that I never missed a step. Literally, never. One thing about Miss XO, she did what she was supposed to do, child. I don't care who says what. I do not care. She did what she was supposed to do. That's it. And now that we're almost done, I'm going to go back to the Dreamy Belle Collection palette and I'm going to be using those two highlighters. It is a very dark highlighter and a very light one. So I'm just going to be blending them together because then, one thing about me and bright things, child, please. So I'm just going to go in with these two shades at the, not at the, on my brow bone, child, on my brow bone. I don't know, but this step just gives my brows, that effect, man. It just like makes everything pop, and you know me and popping, yeah. And as you know, what you do on the right, you do on the left. So I'm just going to go over to the other side and do the same thing. So now that I'm done with that, I'm going to move over to the tip of my nose. And if you know me, you know that I don't like this thing of highlighting the entire dorsum of the nose. I literally just be highlighting the bridge and I'm done. Because this whole dragging thing, I just don't get that, child. And now that we're done with that, I'm gonna go on and highlight the top of my cheekbones. Like I said earlier on, that I do not highlight directly on my cheekbones because that's where I apply blush, but directly on top of the blush, that's where I put on the highlighter. And you want to make sure that when doing these three steps, which is the highlighter, the contour, and the blush, you don't want to like create something that's going to give you harsh lines, but like just try to blend them out. So now I'm just going to go over my forehead and my chin with the X's. But normally I'm not one to highlight my forehead because I personally just don't get the whole thing of highlighting my forehead. Like the shininess just does not do it for me. But it is what it is. So the final step of highlighting now is going in with the highlighter in the corner of my eyes just so I can have a popping eye. So now I'm just going to go over with the chocolate brown shade that I used from the Gallflower eyeshadow palette, and it is the shade that I use to set the contour and also as an eyeshadow. So I'm going to use this shade to line my under eyes. And finally, this look is done, but not really done because I still have to add a few things that I never ever just go without. And these are the, I don't know what you call them, and I don't know what you want to call them, but yeah, it's the black dots. And that's what I call them personally. And the final step is going in with the Ophir Deluxe Banana Powder for more definition. And at this point, I think we are finally done. So I'm just going to go off camera to set my face with the setting spray, and I'm going to come back here with the final look. So guys, this is the final look. Like I said, this is going to be a soft glam tutorial. I hope the video is not too long. I'm gonna try by all means to make sure that it is not long like the other video. But other than that, I really hope you guys love and enjoy this video, and if you do like it, please give it a big thumbs up, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to tell your friends, to tell your friends, to tell your friends, to tell your friends, to tell your friends. That is lovely here, that it's nice here. They should come and join. I love you guys so much. See you guys on the next one.